Good morning. Happy Christmas and Happy New Year. And I wish you a good time. This is about how to lose weight, the principle of insulin hormone in infertility in the male, female, migraine, Alzheimer and dementia, and much more. And this is for my English speaking listeners because I did 2 videos for the Arabic listeners. So, we have to, if we want to lose weight, we have to keep our insulin level low. And that is by intermittent fasting, by also not eating all the day long, or eating 6 times a day small meal every 2 hours. Because if we do that, the blood sugar will be raised and the insulin hormone will be raised for a longer time. So the problem with insulin is how much it will spike after meal and also for how long. Ideally speaking, after a normal meal, which is vegetable, protein, and complex carbohydrate or no carbohydrate, the insulin hormone will rise and then will go back to normal level in 2 hours. But if we don't know the principle and we eat all the time, of course blood sugar will be raised not only by sugar and carbohydrate. Sometimes if we eat too much protein, too much fat, stress, because it raises blood sugar. But we start, if we want to lose weight, by reducing or eliminating sugar and carbohydrate, and then we will lose weight, definitely. Then, if we reach a plateau, the weight will be not lost, then we have to try to restrict our calories and look to other factors, modifiable factors in our lifestyle. This knowledge is from Professor Benjamin Bickman, who is specializing in insulin resistance and fat cells. So when he put the fat cells in the lab in a petri dish and flood the dish with sugar, the fat cell cannot make any fat because there is no hormone, insulin hormone, to signal to the cell, to the fat cell, to store the energy. But when he add insulin hormone in the culture, then the fat cell start to use this energy or sugar or any other type of energy and make fat. So this is evidence, it is proven by experiments. Okay, insulin hormone is very important. For example, in diabetic type 1, they don't have insulin. The insulin hormone is very low, almost zero. And so these patients, mostly children, they are given insulin, and insulin is very important for their life. But before the discovery of insulin, these children or those people, adult, type 1 diabetes, they become very thin, irrespective of the amount of calories they eat. They do not put on weight. And in fact, they are emaciated and wasted. So insulin hormone is important if it is normal level and for a certain period of time. But if we raise insulin hormone to a higher spike by eating donut and cake and all this stuff, and for a longer period of time, then the damage will be happening. How? Because the cells have doors. And when the insulin hormone knock these doors, it will open the door and allow sugar to go in. But with time, if we eat sugar and the blood sugar is high, the cell will not open the door for insulin hormone. And the cell will not have energy. And it will suffer. And sometimes it dies, especially in the neurons in the brain. And this is called insulin resistant. The cell become resistant to the insulin. So to be healthy, we need to be insulin sensitive. So the problem is, We might have normal blood sugar, normal hemoglobin A1C, but our insulin hormone in the background is high. And nobody check it, but I do in private. And this insulin hormone over time, it's not easy. It's not 1 day or 2 days, 10 years, 15 years, 5 years, 20 years, it depends. Then it becomes insulin resistance. So we start with high insulin level, which is called hyperinsulinemia. Hyper mean high, insulin, it's insulin hormone. Emia mean in the blood. Emia mean blood, in Latin, in medicine. And then we will have insulin resistance. This problem is very important because insulin hormone have receptors or these doors in every cell of the body, almost every cell. And there are certain organs in our body, for example, the brain. It is only 2% of our body weight, but it consumes 20 to 25% of our energy. It is very high demand in the brain for energy. And also the kidneys. And to be honest, the kidneys also, they are small in weight and they are very high in energy demand, even more than the brain itself. But the muscles, they are the sink for glucose, even when we are resting. The muscles are important because of their energy demand and also because of the weight. We have more muscles. The weight of the muscle in our body is more than the brain and the kidneys. So the conclusion for the muscle, they will use a lot of sugar. That's why exercises and making muscle with resistant exercises is very important to regulate the blood sugar and to regulate insulin sensitivity. Okay, now, what is the relation between insulin resistance and erectile dysfunction? Erection is very important for reproduction and for fertility of the males. This is what nature wants. So, if the blood vessels in the penis are resistant to insulin hormone, and the blood vessel, I mean the microcirculation, the capillaries, then it will not dilate and the blood will not flood through the blood vessel in the penis to make erection, to make the sexual act. And this is very important because many men, they suffer from erectile dysfunction, and this is the first indication of insulin resistance and pre-diabetes because the blood vessels are affected. Insulin hormone affect every cell in the body, but the cells have different function in different organs. So, also, this insulin resistance will cause high blood pressure because it affects the blood vessels. And when you go to the doctor, they will give you anti-hypertensive drug, which is good. It will reduce the blood pressure. But it will not treat the cause, insulin resistance. The damage is continuing in the background because Western medicine, they use drug to treat the symptoms. And the same is happening with diabetes type 2. They give them tablet and they say it is a chronic for all your life, which is not true because you could reverse it by healthy lifestyle, by not eating sugar and carbohydrate, exercising, and you have to be consistent and persistent. It is not easy to go in remission from diabetes, but I have seen many cases. They educated themselves and they applying it. So they start to give them insulin. The problem with these patients, diabetes type 2, they don't have low insulin. They have insulin, but it is not functioning. Why? Because the cells are resistant to this insulin. They don't allow it. This resistance, it is a common phenomena in biology. For example, if you take drugs you will get high. But with time, you increase your dose, but the cell will not function. They become resistant to the morphine or the drug. So the patient or the addict will take more of the dose, but he will not get the high. But now he will get the side effect of this drug. And the same with insulin. It's toxic to the patient with diabetes type 2. But Western medicine, they don't change quickly. It takes time. And they don't want to, because there is a lot at stake. Insulin, the drugs, the prices. If we say it is healthy lifestyle, they will not make money. It is all about money, which is, I don't blame them. They look after their interest. They are business people, and they are good at it. But what about us? We should learn. We should educate ourselves. And so, insulin resistance, it's also, if I go in the body, in female who are obese and they are insulin resistant, they will have PCOS, meaning polycystic ovarian syndrome. The ovarian cell are resistant to the insulin, and they will not produce the female hormone estrogen, so they cannot ovulate. So the first step is to reduce the weight and reduce the sugar and the carbohydrate. And it is amazing sometimes. I have a patient, this is a real story. They advise her to remove the ovaries or to remove the uterus. And this is in Norway, advanced countries. So, and I said, you are mad. Stop it. And now she is losing weight. She was 120, now 88. And she is worried if it is a plateau and will not lose more weight, she has to reduce her calories and other factors, modifiable factors of healthy lifestyle. This is a real story. Now we go to the migraine, the same. And this is proven since 1920 by experiment. And some people, when they start to become insulin sensitive, they used to have migraine twice a week. It become twice per year. And the attack happen when they take sugar, cake, donut, and this will spike blood sugar and will spike insulin. The same problem with seizure. You see, since 1900, there is no treatment for seizure. So they start to use ketogenic diet, and they could control the seizures because the neuron become more quiet and relaxed. And this patient, for years, they don't have seizure. But if they give them now, sip of Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola and high sugar, they start seizuring. They start to have seizure. The same principle with Alzheimer and dementia. Because if we have high insulin in the brain cells and they become resistant, then the nerve cells, they will not have energy, so they will die. After 10 years, 20 years, 15 years, if we do MRI to the brain, we see it empty. Only half, 50% left, or a quarter is left, or 3/4 is left. And this is from real stories. I have patients like this. Yes. And this neurodegenerative disease will show as dementia, Alzheimer, even Parkinsonism disease. It is very serious, the sugar. Why? Because if the sugar is high, very high, the body could die, even within a day, or if it is low. So the body works hard to keep the blood sugar in balance. And it is in milligram per deciliter. And the total amount of sugar, I always repeat it, is 3.5 gram to 4 gram, which is about 1 teaspoon. And I saw a man in the plane with Coca-Cola, so I said, can I read it? And it was 4.5 gram per 100 ml. And the bottle was 500. So I multiply it, He is taking 7 times sugar in this bottle, plastic bottle, of his blood sugar. So no wonder he is obese and he has big tummy and he feels tired. So I don't want to frighten you, but I want to educate you and to be in control of your health. If you want to. If no, you dismiss this knowledge, well and good. Be happy with your diseases, disability. It is a choice we have to make. And it is a mindset. And I think now, by deep thinking, those people who ignore their health, I don't think the brain is working well. I don't think so. Why they don't listen, why they don't apply it. I think it is already, I am not talking negative against them, but I think that's why they become like this. There's something wrong because all our behavior is related to our thoughts, our cognition, our brain. It's not we are bad people, no. Or we don't have willpower, no. All our behavior, it has biological basis in the brain. If we are happy, if we are depressed, if we want exercises, if we have energy to do healthy lifestyle. So I wish you good health and good time. And don't indulge even in Christmas because you will harm yourself. Thank you and goodbye.